Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Globespan Television here in New York. We are late tonight because we were waiting on one of our guests to come on board, and he's having some problems, but probably he will join us later on. Globespan Television spans the globe. We believe in all voices should be heard, whether we agreed or disagree. And Globespan believe in one Guyana, one nation, one destiny. We offer an all-inclusive discussion on the pros and cons of various types. So all are invited to join us. Tonight, before we get started in our program, which is about third parties, we want to just let you all know that we want to pay tribute again to Miss Adriana Young. So on behalf of the management and staff of Globespan Television, tonight we send our condolences to Miss Amisha Simon. She's the mother of Adriana Young, and Mr. Sir Brian Young, the father, Gabriella and Said Young, brother and sister, and Miss Anika Lois, that's Miss Young's sister, and Wycliffe Simon, the grandmother. We send our condolences to all of them, and we're still waiting for justice to be served. We believe that little Adriana will get justice for sure. And let me say this to all of you. Little Adriana is all of Guyana's daughter, all of Guyana's sister. Everybody loves Adriana. And our death, I should say, should have never occurred, but it did. So there's nothing we can do about that at this stage, but hopefully we can see how we can help the parents out as much as possible. Globespan, as I said, is a fair and balanced network. The views expressed tonight are solely those of our guests and not the views of management and staff of Globespan Television. And we can be heard on Facebook, on YouTube, and all the other different social media. Tonight we have as our guest here, Mr. Charles Sogrim, and we are supposed to have Mr. Dr. Ramayya. But Dr. Ramayya is having a little problems getting through to the program. So we're hoping that he will join us later on in the evening. So, Mr. Sogrim, you are the former coordinator of this program. Welcome back to Globespan Television.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rose. I missed the platform, but I know you're doing a fine job. I'll be following you on Globespan and continue to do good work. And Globespan has been a really good platform to talk about issues affecting the Guyana and Guyanese. So thank you so much.
Now, before we get started on the topic, I want to hear your views on, there have been many views circulating on Facebook, the social media, about Adriana Young's death. You can hear all the comments there. Left, right, wrong, right, whatever you want to, category you want to put them in. But Mr. Sogrim, you are there on the ground. What are your views or what are your take on this angel's death?
That's a good question. And we should ask ourselves, there's so many conflicting views and remarks made about the young lady's death. Now, her death was unfortunate. It could have been avoided based on what we heard, had the police searched that place thoroughly. That did not happen, and we know the rest is history. However, there are now some reports that family issues are concerned with some uncle or something to the effect. We don't know the details. We had an autopsy done, and there was some disagreement there. But I just want to believe what Mr. Sharma said many, many years ago. A story has three sides: your side, my side, and the truth. Now, somewhere along that paradigm is exactly what happened to this young girl. And again, it's very unfortunate, but we hope that the persons who are tasked to give us the final report on an unfortunate death, that the truth is actually being told, and wherever the police or whoever is doing the work need to go, they need to go and look there and find the evidence and then produce whatever the final report is. And I call on all Guyanese, refrain from violence. Creating havoc across the country will not help. Burning places, putting tires on the road is not productive. We are all in anger with the young lady's death, and it's very unfortunate, I said. But let us be circumspect. Let the investigation continue. We are told many times the police bundled it up. If that is true, and again, I don't have no evidence of true or against it, but I think we should allow good sense prevail and let the girl finally go, be put to rest, and may her soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you. We at Globespan also would like to say this, that we don't condone violence of any kind or any type. Adriana's death, the nation is in anguish. People are bitter. Some people are saying that our death has just triggered what are some of the underlying problems. But even if that's the case, we should refrain from violence, because the people we are hurting are innocent just like me and you. We must not hurt each other. We have come a far way from violence. And if we are to proceed or progress more, then we have got to refrain from looting, from burning, from stealing, and all sorts of things, hurting people. The nation, we live in a civilized society. We really don't need that in our society today, because it does not arbor well for the country, its people, and even for Adriana herself. I'm sure her parents have said it time and time again. Please do not commit any violence or any crime on behalf of our daughters. She died. We are waiting for transparency. We're waiting for justice to be served. But do not, at the meantime, I know you're angry with us, but just be patient and let's hear the final results. So with that, I will say it again, we here at Globespan do not condone violence of any type or any sort. It is not a progressive stance or a progressive move. Now, Mr. Sugrim, having said all of that, you have been in Guyana for a while now. Tell the people how long you've been in Guyana.
Well, I came to Guyana in the middle of January, and I went back to New York in March, the first week in March, and I returned to Guyana the third week of March. So I've been in Guyana, maybe 4 months? Yeah.
And this is the longest time you've spent in Guyana since you migrated to the United States.
Precisely.
So what the topic today is, let me repeat it, the upcoming elections, what is at stake? Now, what have you been doing in Guyana for all this time?
Well, since I came, I actually was doing more research and survey across the country. I was very fortunate to visit many places for the first time. I went in the Pomun River before, but now I went to places like Manawarin, Akawini, Karawab, Kabakaburi, St. Monica, and so on. Guyana is really beautiful. For those of you who have not gone to the Pomeroon, please go and visit. It's really a beautiful place. I also was fortunate for the first time in my life to go to Port Kaituma, and I passed where Jonestown was. I passed the main road, but to go into Jonestown, I didn't. But I went to many parts. I went to Matthews Ridge. It was really, really nice to visit our country. Our interior is beautiful, and I want to encourage everyone to go there. I made a lot of trips in the quarantine. I went quarantine a lot of times, but I went there a lot. I went to Linden a couple of times. And of course, we went, Region 3 and in Region 4. So I've traveled quite a bit for the last few months I'm here.
Dr. Ramayya, you there? Dr. Ramayya? Dr. Ramayya, speaker. I'm seeing you, but I'm not seeing your speaker. I'm not hearing you. Ryan, can you help him out, please? So Mr. Sogram, what have you learned by traveling to all these places in Guyana? What you met all the different races there: Indians, Blacks, Amerindians, etc. What have you been hearing from these people?
It's very, very simple message. What I would like to say, and as we speak today, the National Tushao conference is held at the Archon Center. And visiting the Amerindian communities, I'm really, really surprised basically to see how contented these people are with very little. A lot of them need very basic things to really take care of their family. They want to work their farm. They want to take care of their family. They want to do everything that is important for their family. However, they lack market for their product. You know, sometimes the road to go to their area is not, accessible. The canals that they have to go through need to be maintained. So just to do those little things, many of them have cell phones, but the electricity in the area, they have some solar panels, and the panels can only charge their phones, the energy from it. They don't have electricity in their homes. So very basic things they're asking for. It's really sad. This next week, Guyana will be celebrating 59 years of independence. And to see the condition of our people across this nation, it's really mind-boggling. It's really, you want to cry sometimes. You see how people live in this country. Even though we boast of being an oil-rich country now, we have all these resources. Our people, many of them, they're living in deplorable conditions right across this country. Whichever region you go to, region 1, region 2, region 3, region 4, region 5, you name it, region 6, region 10, it's unbelievable how some of our people live. So,
Charles, hold a sec. Dr. Ramayya, you hearing us now? Dr. Ramayya? Come in whenever you're hearing us. When you say the condition of the people, if you see it, you want to cry. Can you be a bit more specific? What are those conditions? Are they living in shelters? Are they living they don't have running water, they don't have electricity? What are some of those conditions?
All of the above. So the homes, many of them, their homes are plastic homes. Some don't have the windows. Well, I mean, I don't know if there are thieves in the area, but it's really, if you can remember put it this way, the lodges that we had in Guyana in the early days for the Africans and the Indians, the lodges are better than what are some of the conditions people are living in. There is running water in some areas. It's only a couple hours a day. Some have no running water. Electricity is absent in many homes. The road condition is deplorable. I was in Region 1, Port Kaituma, going towards Matthews Ridge or going toward 4 Mile, for instance. The road is so deplorable, right? And we have the Chinese there extracting our manganese, and they're not even doing the road. I thought a simple contract for any foreign investors to come in Guyana, you'd have thought those who signed the contract would have said, listen, you get our minerals, but you're gonna build and maintain these roads. It is really sad that the people around Port Kaituma area, the kind of roads these children have to use to go to school, it is unbelievable. Housing is terrible in some areas. I've seen houses really dilapidated. As I said, the lodges that the Africans and the Indians lived in when they came to Guyana is far better than what some of our people are living on today. Very, very sad after 59 years of independence.
So the different places you went to, I'm sure you have checked in at hotels, checked in at the restaurants and so forth. You have at different places because I don't think you cook any meal in those parts of the world. So cost of living will vary from one region to the next, from one village to the next. What's the cost of living like in those areas?
Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm really surprised. Well, not surprised, but I really feel for our mothers in this country, those who have to go to the market to buy stuff. All over this country, things are really expensive. You go to any supermarket. If you don't have 20, 30,000, you're not coming out with a week-old items for the family. I alone, I'm a very small eater, so I don't eat a lot. So I do a lot of bread and and some provision and so on. So my cost is kind of very, very low, but compared to what our children need to develop their faculty and their upbringing and so on, things are really expensive. Whether you go to the if you go to Port Kaituma or go to Linden or go to Berbice or right here in Georgetown, things are really expensive.
Now, you're talking strictly in the Amerindian communities, am I right?
Well, all over. Well, specifically the Amerindian communities, things are even really bad there because the Amerindians, and again, they plant their own produce in many cases, right? They have their cassava, they plant their provision and so on. So they don't have to buy that. So, but the things like things that have to buy to supplement their meal, that is also very depressing to them. The children going to school. And I said, the basic necessities of life at this age and at this time, it's really mind-boggling to see the condition of our first people, how they live. And if you come to the coastland, as you know as well, many areas along the coast, the same condition apply.
Okay, now my next question to you, outside of cost of living, what are these people doing for a living? They're just farming? Well, some have to be teachers, policemen, and so forth, post office workers, and so forth. But the vast majority, what are their profession? What are they involved in?
It depends on the area. When I go to Matthews Ridge and go to other areas in Region 1 there, a lot of them do small mining, but then they're chased out of the land because a lot of the big miners, when these guys go to do like little mining, they will come and dismantle their equipment and so on and chase them out. The farming is a more predominant profession for those communities. You go to Manawarin, it's farming, Akawini, farming and some forestry, other Kabakaburi and so on, the same thing. So there is
I see microphone and everything when I get through.
Go ahead, Charles, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's a lot of farming going on there. However, what the people lack is market for their product. I was told, as I said, so the people plant their crops and so on, but to buy chicken, for instance, chicken in Region 1 is like $1,000 a pound, right? When I was going in, I see from Georgetown, they're taking in bread to sell to Port Kaituma. And I was shocked, and I said, why they don't have a bakery there, for instance? And there's different explanation for it, but everything basically that they have to use that is outside of what they plant, they have to bring it from outside of their area. So it's, I see you're having a problem with Dr. Ramayya with his phone. But maybe Dr. Ramayya can use his phone as the
okay,
to get into the program.
Use your phone and come in. Yes, Mr. Sogrim, sorry about that. Now, going back to, I have a question here from one of our listeners, and she is saying that you have toured Region 1, Region 2, Region 9, Region 7, 8, but you also went to Region 3, 5, 4, and 6. Can you compare the differences, if there are differences?
Well, every region has its own challenges, right? And as I said, if you go to Region 1, and I spoke with one of our contact in Region 9. Chicken is so expensive there, even though sometimes, you know, for them to grow the chicken themselves, they have to bring in all the feed from outside, which is very expensive. I was told like a gallon of gasoline in those areas can be $1,000 a gallon. Right? We were going to the Pomeroon the other day, and a gallon of gas is $1,000 in Region 2. So things are really, really expensive compared to, I guess you can measure it with other areas. But every region have its own challenges. And in Guyana, you can't really compare one region against the other in terms of generalizing things. Everyone has its specific areas of needs.
So, of all the regions you have toured, this is coming from our listeners. Again, I hope you take the questions. Which is the worst region in your mind when it comes to cost of living, when it comes to housing, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to education? This person lumped all in one bracket.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. It's sad when you go to it doesn't matter which region, the Amerindian communities. Somebody have a clinic, they don't have a doctor. I went to, in Region 1, if you're sick in one area, Region 1, you have to come to Matthews Ridge, or you have to go to Port Kaituma for treatment. In Region 1 there in Port Kaituma, there's only one mortuary, right? There is no horse there. There is no, if someone die in Baramita, for instance, Baramita is way down into Region 1, almost next to the Venezuelan border there. When someone died there, the police bring them out on a motorbike because they don't have even something to bring the dead out from Baramita, for instance, to come to Port Kaituma, where the mortuary is, where all autopsy is done, right? Now, when the doctor finished doing the autopsy on the body, the family can't take the body back to Baramita. They can't do it because there is nothing going back there. And it's so expensive to get there. So a lot of family members, let's say in Baramita, can't see the dead after the dead leave there to come to Port Kaituma. But because of how expensive it is. And there is no horse, nothing. I met the guy who was doing the transportation, and he was asking me, can you tell Mr. Mohammed to please buy him one of these 3-wheel bike or something so he can put a tray at the back to take the dead back to the families in like Baramita, for instance. It's really sad, the conditions that people are living in. Many areas, there's no running water, there is no electricity, the houses are deplorable. Guyana is so beautiful, but when you go to these living areas, it breaks your heart to see how people live in this country after all the riches that we claim we have and claiming to be the fastest growing economy. So I would say it's difficult to say which region is worse than the other. Each region have its challenges, and each region have some serious problems. And that's what I can say about what I saw so far.
Explain how can you bring a dead out on a motorcycle? They put it there to sit behind the motorcyclist?
To be honest, I didn't witness it, but the guy was telling me he said police bring them out. I don't know if they put the dead in a bag and then put it across the back seat or something and strap it, and then the police will ride out with it. I mean, I've not seen it, but I can only imagine if you come with a bike out. They got these bikes with 4 wheels, right? And I guess they put it across the back there, but I've never seen it, but he's telling me that's how they bring them out.
So there are no tractors with trailers or nothing?
Excellent question. Now, some of the communities have a tractor and trailer. Some have minibus. But apparently these are not used to bring the dead out. because the person alive will keep using it, right? But he didn't tell me that they were using those things to bring the dead out. And there is no other way that he said the police can get it out to Port Kaituma, let's say from Baramita, for instance. The only way to bring it out is through a cycle.
Now, all those regions have Amerindian leaders. I don't know if you came in contact with any of the leaders, but are these people not pushing the leaders to make contact with the government or the different departments to have things done for them?
A lot of the areas I visited, like in Matthews Ridge and other areas, they're not Amerindian communities, they're NDCs and so on. What I was told by the villagers in many of the areas, the equipment that is given to the villages, like the tractor or the minibus or the truck or whatever they have, the leaders use it for themselves and their family and their friends. So the community do not benefit from it. And it's really sad. And I said, what are you guys doing about it? And there's very little they can do, if anything at all, except to vote out the people when the next election. But the leaders in those communities, they use everything for their friends and their family and themselves.
I have another question from one of our listeners here. They said, if you are put in a position to help those people, what are the first four things you will do?
Well, first thing I tell them that we will do is, yeah, the first thing we'll do is in the community, get good leaders. We need good leadership, right? If we have leaders who will take care of the community, that community will do a lot better. The farming area, the farmers need some equipment to help them. They need equipment for their farming. They need, so we will help them in doing that. They also need a market for their product. So we will set up, and again, in my work there, we meet with them. We tell them about what can be done. So if we set up processing plant, because you need a lot of production to go into processing plant, right? Maybe canning factory and so on. But if we can have those things, we know what the market needs, and tell our community there, listen, we want you to produce this to sell to this factory, to process it for the market, they are ever so willing to do it. It's very, very not difficult to do, but it takes vision and the will to get it done. And we also need cheap loan to the farmers. So what we have suggested to them, and I told Mr. Mohammed this, if you were to run for president, we need to go back to what President Burnham had, to have the Agricultural Development Bank, so the farmers can have cheap loans to go and buy their equipment and do whatever they need. Even we're talking about the rice millers today. So the people go out there and plant their paddy. They work so hard, and when the crop when they reap their crop, they go to the miller and they don't have money to pay, or the price is depressed, right? So we need to change a lot of things in this country, and I think we have the vision, we have the technical know-how, and I think it only takes now determination and a good team to bring this country where people can live in dignity and respect. We have enough revenue in this country for every Guyanese to live a life that is above standard. People do not need to live in this condition anymore. We are way past that. As I said, next week, we'll be celebrating 59 years of independence. And I asked many Guyanese, I said, tell me anything that you believe is working to your satisfaction. And they can hardly see anything that is working to their satisfaction. Guyana need to stop, turn around, and start the right path to development. And I think Mr. Mohammed, if he were to run for president, he will do a fantastic job to get the work done. And there are many thousands of supporters, thousands and thousands of people in this country who want to support him to change the dynamic of how things will work in this country. Guyana will be the most prosperous nation the people in Guyana will live the highest quality of life once we have good leadership in this country.
Why, Mr. Mohammed? Why not the PEP party or the PNC party? Those are the two entrenched parties in the country. Why not them?
Well, I told you, 59 years of independence. Half and half, 30 of those years was run by the PNC, another 30 years by the PPP. What is there to show? We have talked about, I know the government now is boasting about development. Yes, we have development, but guess what, Dr. Rose? It is through borrowed funds. It's like you go into the bank and say, I want $100 million, and you build a beautiful home. Guess what? You don't own it, the bank owns it. If you don't pay your loan back to the bank, they will seize it from you. Now, you can't seize things from the government, the country, but our children and grandchildren. When this government went into office, we had $1.6 billion in foreign debt. Our debt now is over $6 billion, going to $7 billion US dollars. So we have borrowed almost $6 billion US dollars over the last 4.5 years. So when you see all this development we're talking about, yes, there is development, but at what cost? We give away everything in this country. We give away our oil, our gold, our minerals, our forests, you name it, we're giving it away. And then we're going to borrow to develop what you're seeing as development. And the Secretary of State put it very clearly. You must have driven on the Heroes Highway. It's really a concoction road. You go to the West Demerara, you drive on those from the bridge to Crane, it's a concoction road. These are the development we're talking about.
Now, you raised a lot of points there, and you spoke about, but the question remains, what type of development you think could work in those communities?
All people need, Dr. Rose, is to have, okay, there's a lot of issues in Guyana. One is housing. Housing is a big issue, right? So the government boasted that they have done 50,000 house lots. But a lot of those house lots, we don't have the infrastructure needed for people to live a normal life. So a little rainfall and there's flood. So the drainage situation is bad. The roads become deplorable very quickly. There's no sewer system. So everyone has to either do a pit latrine or they have to do their own septic tank. I spoke on this same program when I was co-hosting with you. I asked the minister at that time, we are now a nation of gas, cooking gas. Why don't we at least run the gas pipelines in these new communities before we start build houses? Because when you finish building the house, how are you gonna run the gas line afterwards, right? Simple things like that. So I'm saying, and I told Mr. Mohammed, I said, when he become president, when we develop a community, we want first to establish the basic necessities that people need. We need the roads, the drainage, maybe underground drainage is better. We need a sewer system. We need to run lines for cooking gas and so on. So when people go now and build their homes, they will have all those facilities there in place. This country can change in 5 years. Electricity, a big problem. I live here, I'm in the East Bank. Sometimes 2-3 times a day, blackout. You gotta put on a generator, then lights come on something again. I don't know what is right in this country, what is going right. The people can decide that. Things are really, really not so good in this country as we claim to be.
I have another question here. They said the Chinese have built supermarkets all across the country. Are Chinese supermarkets in the regions you went into?
Oh boy, you can say that again. I went in Port Kaituma, a small community like that. There are 5 Chinese supermarkets, 5. And they are now taking away the business of the mom and pop shop. I'm here on the East Bank and you go on the highway, almost every corner you go, there's a huge Chinese shop, right? We did a video one time of the Chinese, of the local people, right? The wholesalers, Bank CIH, DDL, they're selling these people their product at a much cheaper price because the Chinese are buying huge bulk, right? So they're buying it at a cheaper price. And the trucks don't go to the locals anymore. They go straight to the Chinese to deliver, right? So when these Chinese finish with us in Guyana, we have no shirt, we have no pants, we have nothing to put on. They're going to take every single thing from us. And this government seems to be turning a blind eye on the Chinese. I don't know if they pay VAT or not. I go to the supermarket not far from here. Every bill you get, there is a VAT charge. You go to the Chinese store, there is no VAT in the bill. So if you ask for a bill, that is. So we don't know if the Chinese are paying VAT anyway, right? But everywhere in Guyana you go, the Chinese have dominated the economic life of this country. It's only time when they take all the mom and pop shop that we know when you grow up, there was shops all over the corner shops. When those disappear, the Chinese will dominate the economic life of this country. Very, very sad, but that is going to happen if this government do not take drastic action now. There must be a level playing field for every local business in this country. So they can't treat the Chinese one way and treat the other locals another way. And that is exactly what is happening. It is really, really sad. And I don't know why Guyanese, I mean, I try to avoid the Chinese as much as possible to go shop at their place. I mean, I try to go to the Guyanese supermarket, to the Guyanese shop, but you know what? The Chinese sell cheaper than the regular shop. So the people that have no funds or very limited funds, so they go there to buy from the Chinese. They're taking away everything from our country. If we don't wake up, when we wake up sometime in the next 3-4 years, China we have to speak maybe Mandarin because China will dominate Guyana.
This is a young lady sent me a question here. And she said I can mention her name, I feel, but I'm not going to mention her name. She says she's from Region 2 and she's at the shore. She says what she knows is that corruption is rampant among our leaders. Who are leaders? Is she talking about the shore leaders or the leaders of the country? I really don't know, among our leaders. But she said, did you experience that within the communities you visited, corruption? If the people talk about corruption or whatever they spoke about?
They're complaining bitterly. They're complaining bitterly about corruption. And in my outreach, when I do my research and I was doing a survey all across the country as I go. And I will chat with the people as I go. And I made some very clear point to them. They know I'm campaigning for T. Mohammed. And on our outreach, we can ask simple questions. What are some of the issues affecting the community? And these are some of the issues that I talk about, housing, water, electricity, price of food, the children, how they go into school, among other things. And they complain bitterly about the leaders in the community where they're given, as I said, things like tractor or a minibus or an ATV that they have, or a truck or something. The leaders use it for themselves and their family and their friends. So the majority of the people don't get the use of it. So I tell them that is corruption. That is a big part of corruption as well. So I encourage everyone that we reach out to, come on board with us, come on board, because we want to build this country together. However, and I keep telling everyone that if you come on board and you get corrupt, you will be fired. Not only fired, but you hand over to the police and the court will decide what penalty you get for corruption. We need to stop this cancer. We got to cut this cancer nip it away from Guyana. Everywhere you go. You drive on the street, the police stop you, you got to give them a bribe. They find some excuse for something, but thank God now there's some cameras they put on so that restrict the bribe. But it was a rampant thing. Police all over this country harassing drivers. I know we speak of drivers, and Guyana sometimes have some of the worst drivers in the world I've seen. Because many of the drivers we have in this country did not go to classes and take the test for their exam. They buy the license. So they start from the police force. The police force is so corrupt to issue driver's license. So these guys, it's like giving a child a gun to play with. That's disaster. So you're giving someone a driver's license to drive a vehicle, and they don't know what the rules of the road are. And you drive on the road for 5 minutes, you know who buy their license. It's that simple. It's really, really widespread in this country. So, but having said that, the police are harassing people a hell of a lot in this country. They got to stop being on so many parts of the road, stopping vehicle every single day. You go out there and you find those who commit the offense, stop them and charge them. If someone will speed, give them a ticket, let them pay the price. If you go to Georgetown is chaos every single day. People park wherever they want, however they want, right? You park on a one-way street, they park on both sides of the street on busy hours. Then somebody stop next to that vehicle, you can't pass. It's really, really sad what's going on in Guyana, and nobody seems to have a solution to it. People are so fed up, I believe. People are so frustrated. People are so, I don't know. I think Guyanese, they bear a lot. They bear a lot. But sometimes we cause up on ourselves because we elect, as I said, for the last 59 years, we've elected the PNC and the PVP, and they really have not done a good job in getting anything done properly in this country.
I want just a cautionary word to our listeners. I know you're sending me a lot of questions. And Charles, since you mentioned that you with Team Mohammed, 23 questions came in from the group within the past minute. 22 said they're supporting Team Mohammed. 22.
Thank you very much. Talk to your friends and family to support him. We will make a difference in this country. I mean,
and this
I
is just
will not be.
Minute you mentioned the name. So I want our listeners to know that I cannot ask all the questions. I'll try to ask as many as possible if my guest will accept them and allow me to ask him the question. But this person is asking me the question: is Team Mohammed going to run? And if so, what's the name of his party?
Good question.
This came from a number of people, but I just asked you that question. It came from them.
I can speak with some certainty based on our conversation that Mr. Mohammed will run for president. The name of the party, I think they're finalizing that now. So within another couple of days, we'll know exactly the name of the party. But all indications are that Mr. Mohammed will be running for president, and I look forward to meeting a lot more Guyanese. I've been privileged to go around this country, someplace I never went before, and it's incredible how beautiful our country is. If only our people can live a beautiful life, a life where they can take care of their family, a life where they can live a good quality life with a good standard of living, I think Guyanese will be proud of this country. And I want to invite.
Yes, I'm hearing you now, Dr. Ramayya. You there?
Yeah, me up on the phone, the cell phone.
Okay. I'll come to you just now.
We want all Guyanese to think of, whenever the president announces election, think of an alternative. We need a new start, and I believe, and I want to invite, I was going to tell you what my thought I was saying, is that we want to invite all Guyanese to come on board. I don't care if you're a diehard, you were born in the PPP, you're born in the PNC. That's okay. That's your choice. That's fine. But come on board, come with us. And together, this country does not belong to African, does not belong to Indian, it does not belong to Amerindian, does not belong to Portuguese, Chinese, mixed race. This country belongs to all Guyanese. And I believe all Guyanese mean everyone who live here, all Guyanese who live here, and those live abroad. We really want to bring back as many Guyanese as possible because we have such a great plan. I'm telling you, when Mr. Mohammed started presenting his plan to the public, I think all Guyanese, I got my gut feeling, Dr. Rose and Dr. Ramayya, my gut feeling is that when Mr. Mohammed declares his candidacy and the election is held, we will have an overwhelming majority in parliament, and we will transform this country.
Wow. I have, Dr. Ramayya, before I come to you, I have one more question for you, Charles. Yes, Lister, this is a question you laugh at. Dr. Rose, can you please ask Mr. Sogrim that elections are expensive to run a campaign? Does Mr. Mohammed have some way we can help him send some money to him so he can finance his campaign? One, I know he's a rich person, but does he have enough money to run a campaign? Quickly answer that one.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think we need money from anyone. Thank you so much for that offer. As a matter of fact, we don't have to spend money too much for the campaign because the people of Guyana will spread the word. As we speak now, we are forming groups all over this country. And I think the people in the villages, they don't need money to go in the village to walk around and tell people to vote for Mr. Mohammed. So it's really wouldn't be that expensive for us. We don't have to go, we don't have to keep no rallies. We don't have to, have no television ad. We don't have to do none of those things. What Mr. Mohammed will continue to do is, as what he's doing all the time, go and meet the people. For those, he has been helping a lot of people. I mean, his father has done that for more than 40 years, and he has continued with that trend. He will continue to go out there and help people. And so thank you for the offer, dear listener. But I want you, instead of giving us money, to spread the word in your village. Tell your friends and your family, those near and far, to support Mr. Mohammed for president. And I want to assure you that when he becomes president, Guyana will be a totally different place to live in. It will be the most beautiful place on earth. God has blessed this country with tremendous resources. And I think it takes good leadership without this, ethnic issue. I mean, our people are not racial people. Our people fight because the pie is so limited. So we fight each other for that small pie, even though the pie is very, very big. So there's more to share, there's more to use. And I want to encourage all Guyanese, for those of us who are listening and your friends and family and those who will watch the program afterwards, please spread the word, support Mr. Mohammed, and let us have a really brand new beginning after the next election.
She said she and all her family will do. Now, Dr. Ramayya, you there?
Yes, Dr. Rose, and my apology because I am not a good person with the cell phone and with the laptop. And although you showed me how to get in, it is very unfortunate.
Okay, let me continue the conversation since we have. Now, I did some research on you before getting here. You returned to Guyana in 1992. 1992 or 1993, somewhere there.
1993 January.
After the late Chedi Jagan won the election, I think it was October the previous year, 1992.
Yes.
And you were a member of ROAR, which is Ravidef Party. Am I right?
Yes, you're quite right.
And then you form your own party, a local government election, you contest it, and you won, I don't know how many seats. It didn't state, but I think you won a few seats.
Yes, I did 7 seats.
Then in 2010 or 2011, you joined the AFC. And you campaigned on behalf of the AFC. And the AFC won 7 seats. And this means that the PEP had a minority government in 2011. In 2020,
that's right.
AFC joined with APNU or the PNC. And you campaigned for them again. And they won the election and so forth. Something went wrong between you and the AFC and APNU. In 2020, you came right back to the PEP and you campaigned for them from coast to coast. I'm not saying you alone caused it to win the election, but they won the election. Now, after more than 4.5 years with the PEP, and you were the coordinator for Borbis, you now walked away from the PEP. And what I've seen there, you had headlined a few meetings with Mohammed up to quarantine in Region 6. Why have you left the AFC, APNU, AFC, after 2015 victory? And then you came
Yeah,
back to the
Dr. Let me
in
give you
2020.
briefly because we're just running out of time, and my apology again for not joining in
Go
early.
ahead. Go ahead.
And whatever Charles has indicated for the people to support Mohammed, what happened is when I followed the protocol, I never was in agreement with AFC to join hands with the coalition because in our campaign before the 2015 election, Camraj Moses and the whole AFC that we will not join hands with the PVP or with the PNC because of corruption and the country was not going as it's supposed to. However, I followed the protocol because I was with the AFC, but I was never a member of any political party. I just want to make that explicitly clear. I was never a member of any political party. So when I followed the protocol in 2015, they were able to win by 1 seat. And the last 3 elections is only 1 seat victory. However, when they won the 2015 election, I resigned because they tried to treat me very badly, and the investment that I made was not given back to me. However, the president, Mr. Granger, made me the REO. My contention was at that time that the hospital, especially the hospital, was not running properly. And I can explicitly say that today as well. So after the first year of being the REO, I resigned from the coalition because my grievances with the Ministry of Local Government was not satisfactory to my expectations of what they plan to do for Berbice. However, I left and I went back. I took care of my mother and blah, blah, blah. But then in 2020, in 2019, you and I had some conversation and you said that you were communicating with Bharat and Irfan and so forth. And you asked me to come back. And I had a vendetta against the AFC for what they did to me. That was the only reason I joined the PVP. But I came and I worked with them without being a member of the party. And I worked insidiously to help to bring back with the expectations that they will be able to change from what they were doing in the 23 years to bring something new to the Guyana public. However, after the 2020 election, 5 months of back and forth, I took the job with the president as the coordinator for Berbice with him. But things were not working because friends and family were getting the contracts and things were not going well. And to right now, Dr. Rose, 2 years after, if you recall, I mentioned explicitly that the 23 years of the PVP, this 2 years was worse off than the 23 years. And that resonates so well with all people who started to write and put things in the press. I have no fear or no grudge against anybody. So I express myself because one of the problems with me, Dr. Rose, I only think about people welfare, and the people welfare come first. I will not live in a tunnel, and when I get up from the light, the people are still suffering. Yesterday, I was with the privilege to talk to some people who went to Skellen Hospital. About 17 beds with no sponge. The place was smelling at the Skellen Hospital. Right now at Portmore Hospital, medical problems in this country, as Charles explained, how you have to bring out a dead and all these things. Medical problem is one of the worst problems in this country. It's the worst problem in this country. And we are thinking about roads and everything else the people health is not taken care of. And this is one of my problems. Right now at Portmore Hospital, there is no kitchen. So if you have nobody to cook some food for you to take in the hospital, you starve and you will not die from the disease. You will die from starvation. So where is this money going? We just had a 1 point something trillion dollar budget or how much. Now, again, they ask somebody where the money is going, that we do not have medical facilities to facilitate the Guyanese public. This is one of the biggest problems. All the hospitals are in a deplorable conditions. So my reason for leaving to join Mr. Mohammed, a man who has a heart for people. And if you look, Dr. Rose, with your own conscience, as Charles expounded so well, he went to areas where people are living in a deplorable conditions. He built houses for people who couldn't get a job. He gave them cars. He gave them all sorts of things to do business that they can survive. Look at his work that Mr. Mohammed did. Now, one of the problems, and I have no fear of saying this, why is it today that even I think the vice president offered to give some ministerial position to the PNC? They feel that there is a challenge for the first time in the Guyana history. And I will tell you, for the last time since 93, I was here to now. I born and grew up in Guyana. This is the first time that you and I and all of us discuss a third force got no place in Guyana politics unless they take years to build up. Here is a man who has done so much. I do not care about the sanction of what the United States placed on him. Recently, Charles and I, we were, they put it in a Facebook that we going to be sanctioned because we follow Mohammed. Charles, you remember that?
Yes, of course.
It's your only last week that took place. Now they start to accuse you of all type of derogatory things. Now this is what the formula is, Dr. Rose, to keep you out. If Mohammed and I became friends, and he is my friend, I will tell you why he is my friend. He is a people person, and I am a people person. Because that was my motive when I came back, people helping people. That was the name of my party. That was the name of my party, people helping people. And I will continue. Any government, any political party that affiliates itself to help the public, to help the Guyanese people, I will go with them. Because that is why I do not commit myself to no political party. I'm a man who will do service to, and you know that, Dr. Rose, you came to my house several times, and the things that I am doing from my own pocket. And this is where Mr. Asadin Mohammed is going into his own pocket to facilitate all these projects. And you ask a pertinent question, who is going to facilitate the expenses for this coming election? Well, I will tell you something. The little that I know, he does not want. He's a man who is going deep into his pocket to help and to facilitate. And I was told that if he should become the president, and I want the people of Guyana to know this, that he's not going to work for any salary. He's going to work to serve the people of Guyana. And he's the type of leadership that for a long time, that was a dream, that Mr. Mohammed has that dream to liberate the people, especially those underprivileged, those people who are suffering, especially in the remote areas. But we should not go too far, Dr. Rose. We should come right in Berbice, in Region 6, go to Topu, go to Belvedere, to the seawall, to the seaside, right in Blackbush. You have to see how many people are coming to me for help. They want a house, they want a little kitchen. Some people are look, recently, Mr. Glenlal exposed somebody in Skell, an old lady. When Mr. Glenlal went, oh, you're Mr. Mohammed? Because he know Mr. Mohammed is there with the generosity as a philanthropist to help people. And Dr. Rose, objectively, we have to look at people who can deliver and who can help. And he delivered for the last few months that I get to know him. And he became a friend, not a business partner. But they want to scare us. Oh, if you should follow Mohammed, you will be sanctioned. By whom? Mr. Trump went to the Middle East in Syria And he lifted all those sanctions against the leader of Syria. The man even bought a car for $400 million, a plane, and give it to him. So Mr. Mohammed's sanction will be lifted. Non-government officials should be afraid of that. None. I surprised that Charles didn't mention this. But Mr. Mohammed should not be afraid about the sanction. He's a Guyanese. Unless Mr. Musk give him a place in space that he got to go live there. He's a Guyanese and he wants to bring a change, a complete transformation. And this is what I see in this man. As a young person, a dedicated person, and a son of the soil to help to build and to rebuild with all the resources that we have, Dr. Rose, to build this country, that poor people must get equal chance, not friends and families. Everybody should get a chance to live a decent life. That is what my support is. I am not a member of his party or even do party, but this is my intention.
Just let me interject here. You said you were appointed the coordinator of Borbies by President Ali, Orphan Ali, right?
Yes.
And you said the hospitals were in deplorable conditions. Did you make a report to him to explain to him what the situation were in the hospitals?
Yes, that was known, Dr. Rose. But in all fairness to him, I did hundreds of programs. But all that I was getting from the vice president, that I am criticizing and I am condemning the government. I was not condemning. I was exposing. I was giving critical criticism as to the conditions. Only recently, a strong PPP man mentioned on the Facebook, his son took him ill, and there is no machine, there is no ambulance to take him to Georgetown. The ambulance had wanted $100,000. There is no scan machine working, nothing in the public hospital. So I was doing critical. I was critical of the conditions of the hospitals, of the rights.
You think Mr. Mohammed will solve the problems in the hospital because he said you're joining forces with him?
Dr. Rose, knowing him for the last couple of months, he has more than a heart. And I believe if he should be a president of this country, the first thing I will advise him, and I know he's going to do it, if he concerned right now about poor people, that is the first thing he will try to do, is to establish a modern hospital through the length and breadth of this country. I have guarantee in him. That's how I see him. That is how I analyze him, Dr. Rose. If he can take his own personal money and help people to survive, where rain cannot wet them, where sun cannot blister them, then that tells me enough about this man, that he has the ability, he has the charisma to do things to enrich the life of the poor, especially those people who do not afford a good life.
Charles, have you seen the same thing, Mr. Mohammed?
Oh, I've seen what Dr. Ramayya just said there. I've met this gentleman last year. I was here for the first time. And I can tell you this, whatever Mr. Mohammed promised, he delivers. And I'm glad Dr. Ramayya mentioned that, because I didn't mention health per se, but I know some of the areas that he will concentrate on, that, you see, we want all Guyanese to be lifted up from the dungeon, so to speak. So housing will be very top priority. Health will be another top priority. Education, another priority. Those three areas, agriculture, priority. So those areas that he will concentrate on, if we got to spend, our old age pensioners need to be better taken care of. So we have a nice package coming out to address every issue in this country that affect the man and woman of this country. So people, a mother and a father, do not have to worry, will my child have anything to eat in the morning to go to school? So we will work on we have a program set out to establish those things. So I'm glad Dr. Ramayya mentioned the hospital, because The health of our nation is very, very important. Think of it this way. I used to be the director of finance at Georgetown Hospital before I left Guyana. And I'm surprised if at this time that you have patients coming from different parts of this country to go to Georgetown Hospital for their follow-up. And guess what? The doctor do not see them until after visiting the ward. Why is that still happening? Why must someone leave their home at 4 o'clock in the morning, come to Georgetown, get a number, and then wait until 12 or 1 o'clock to start see the doctor? That is ridiculous. Why don't the Georgetown Hospital set in place where at 7 o'clock the doctors seeing patients who are programmed to be seen that day? Why the same doctor have to go through the ward, and then when they finish the ward, you come and see patient? That is ridiculous. They have no regard for patient. And if our politicians had to go through that, they would have changed it immediately. It's really, really sad that our people have to go through things like that at this time, at this age. It's ridiculous. And I know Mr. Mohammed, I think this man has a heart of gold. And I really believe that with him being the helm of this country, Guyanese have nothing to worry about. However, we will need you to come and work with him. All you professionals, all you people with ability, as I said, I don't care. If you're born in the belly of the PPP or the PNC or whoever you're born into, put that aside. We want you to come and work with this gentleman for the development of Guyana. And together, this country will be lifted up. There will be no issue with you giving priority to friends, family, and so on. That will have gone through the window. Everyone will be treated as true Guyanese because you deserve it.
Folks,
Dr. Rose,
no, Dr.
I
Meyer,
want to
Dr. Meyer, just hold your thoughts. I have to do a commercial, but we'll go past we'll take an extra 10 minutes and go past the regular time because we started late. Let me do this commercial. Folks, I want you all to listen to this carefully. Allfromonesupplier.com. All from one is a number, supplier.com, where you can get all your West Indian food, your groceries, especially your roti, your fish, your curry, your meat, and you can use EBT cards, your credit cards, your debit cards. We have home deliveries available throughout the country, the United States. So you can call 718-551-3292. That's 718-551-3292. And they're located at Liberty, 10809 Liberty Avenue in Richmond Hill. All from onesupplier.com. Please give them a call. And my favorite, Globespan. Globespan has been in business for over 30 plus years. And for all your traveling experiences, leave it up to Globespan. The staff there will take care of everything. They'll book your ticket, they'll book your hotel, they'll get you everything that you need. Leave all your headaches, traveling headaches to them. They're very experienced, and they have upcoming tours to Dubai, India, South Africa, Norway, and several other countries. So please call Globespan tomorrow for all your traveling needs. They're located at 10809 Liberty Avenue in Richmond Hill, and the number to call is 718-845-0437. That's 718-845-0437. They're also in Georgetown, Guyana, 227-1701. And in Rosaltongue of the Quarantine, 337-4287. They're located in Chaguanas in Trinidad, 665-3383. And in Val Park in Trinidad as well, 645-1604. So call Globespan for all your traveling needs and leave your headaches to them. They will get you there and bring you back safely to your destination. Thank you. Yes, Dr. Mai, what were you going to say? You're interjecting something?
Yeah, Dr. Rose, I want to that what Charles was saying. We can build 10 more hospitals in Guyana, modern hospital. But if we don't have staff, well-paid staff, that is one of the problems, that the nurses, the doctors are not highly paid people, even teachers, policemen. So the proficiency of developing this country is not going to be there unless they have a salary. And Charles spoke about the cost of living. Now, I can recall that in the 60s, every bed in the hospital used to have a little freezer at the bed head. With patients, they can put them things there and they can have something. Today, you don't have nothing. You don't have nothing of that nature that the patients can store them things that if they're hungry in the night, that they can have something to eat. And one of the problems that we have, like right now, the 2 patients I left in the house who are paralyzed. If somebody go and feed them by themselves, they're from the neck down, they're paralyzed with the spine. The question here, not even a freezer, a little fridge is there. The condition of the bed, mosquitoes. You have to go and see the yard, the outside of that yard, Dr. Rose. I did some work when I had the 20 people. And it's amazing to see that it gone back to square one. The condition of the place, it's so smelly. You cannot heal yourself when you go in there. There is not a place, and I mention this in an open way. If you want to die, go in the public hospital. The way it is being run, the condition is so bad.
Let me just ask you a question that came from one of our listeners. And it's a question, I don't know if you want to answer it though, but I will ask it. They said that you have left 4 different parties, but the last 2, the AP and UAFC, you said it treated you badly. The PP, they said it treated you badly. So if Mr. Mohammed to be elected and treat you badly, would you leave as well?
Dr. Rose, as I told you, I don't want to be a member of any political party. All that I want to see, that if they promise to deliver, you see the injustice that is being done. Even in the legal system, Dr. Rose, on your program, you mentioned certain people supposed to be moved out from the police station and so forth because of the injustice. If Mr. Mohammed fail, well, I think I'm not going to live forever. But anybody who make promises to deliver, to enhance the life of people in any given society, Dr. Rose, my whole concept is to help people. I wish I had the money that every month I can make 100 hampers and help those poor people right in Berbice. Right in Berbice, Dr. Rose, not far from here. So, but what I see, Mr. Mohammed, is a different picture altogether where leadership is concerned. Completely different. And I know he can make the transition.
Dr. Maya, you are working for the government. Did you explain this to them that you need hampers to help the people?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, Dr. Rose.
And you were not given money?
I asked the vice chairman several times. He never delivered. Dr. Rose, if they can report to the vice president that I am criticizing the government, they should have report all these things that I'm explaining on my program. I should not live in fear, Dr. Rose. The question is, if I see something and I constructively criticize what is going on, that is not condemnation. I am just criticizing things are not, they could have been a better position in Region 6 today. And through the same principle could have been applied in every region. Where is the healthcare in this country, Dr. Rose? Where is the healthcare? You tell me. You witness many of these occasions when your niece died in New Amsterdam Hospital with the baby. You've been through this experience, Dr. Rose. It's not that you don't know what is going on. What happened with the Lewis, with the mother and the child die in the hospital? I have cases after case I can relate to you. It's not a matter I affiliate with parties, Dr. Rose. I always look out for people that is what my whole basic concern. And before I affiliated myself with any political party, as I mentioned to you in 94, people helping people. That was the name I came up with when I formulated for the local government. People helping people. And that is and that is exactly what Mr. Mohammed is doing. People helping people. And he is a one man who is going into his pocket, not taxpayers' money, Dr. Rose, get that straight. Whether how he accumulates his money, but he is going deep down into his own personal pocket and help people. And this much I can tell you right now. This much I can tell you. He's going into his pocket to help people, not taxpayers' money. And whatever is done in this country is taxpayers' money. So it's not PPP party. It's coming as an initiative of the government. And the government taxpayers' money, Guyanese people money, is enable them to do what they want to transcend that as if the PPP party is doing it. And that's fine with me. If the people wants to buy that, fine with me, Dr. Rose. I don't have a grudge.
I just want to let you know that your idea of constructive criticism fits well into what George Washington said in 1789, that he told all his staff and all his party comrades and secretaries that I prefer to hear from my enemies than my friends, because my friends will tell me what I want to hear, but my enemies will be critical of me, and I will learn from the criticisms, and I will become a better president of the United States. He said it in 1789. So not every criticism should be taken as if you're criticizing somebody. Listen to what somebody's saying and see if we can at least improve on it or benefit from it. But I know in Guyana and other parts of the Caribbean, you just criticize a politician, and if you got to depend on them for a government contract or a job or something, you lose the job, you not get a contract, and probably be banished. Because I don't know if they're not ready for criticism, constructive criticism, or they felt they're above criticism. I don't know which is which, but I know they criticize Christ, and no one is bigger than him.
I will tell you something.
So I know which is which, but I'm only saying that.
Who this country belongs to? If you want a house flat, you got to pay millions of dollars to get a house flat. And I think Mr. Mohammed is working on an initiative that people poor should have a house flat. Outsiders can come and have 10, 15, 20 acres of land. And you born and grew up in. A woman wrote something on the Facebook recently. She born and grew up and she can't get a house flat to live. And I mentioned that 20 years ago, Dr. Rose, the only piece of land that you're entitled to is a 6x6 when you die. We should not pay for a house flat. We should not pay for a house flat. Today we found oil in this country. Everybody, look, 750,800,000 people. Why we have to go through all of this in terms of cost of living and people living in poverty, Dr. Rose. Look at the poverty level. And if you can see they're going to share the school grant. Now they're going to share school grant for September. The family going to eat that money out because they need food on the table. They're going to eat that money out. What sense does it make? The children will still go back with the old clothes to school. I'm just being objective. I'm not condemning. I am just being objective because I live here and I saw what is going on. What reason Mr. Mohammed has to go and build houses for people? Because them are renovate them in the house with 7 children, and most of them are single parents. I went to Portmore Market when he delivers those 2 cars to single parents to drive the car instead of renting a car and to support the children. It's not easy, Dr. Rose. The cost of living is very, very high.
Let me ask Charles this question. Charles, Dr. Meyer said that the salaries for teachers, policemen, nurses, public servants is too low. And you hinted at that as well. Charles, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What, you said T. Mohammed, whatever it is, what will Mr. Mohammed give as a starting salary for these workers? Do you have any idea in mind?
Yeah, we're discussing that because before I answer that question quickly, I think for the listener who asked that question for Dr. Ramayya, I think I would rephrase the question to say, why did Dr. Ramayya leave APNU and then PEP? And I believe, knowing Dr. Ramayya, he's a humanitarian, and he wants to see fairness and distribution of equity to the people. And what he has seen in both the APNU, AFC, and the PEP is too much corruption. And that's why Dr. Ramayya walked away. It's not that they had problem with him. He walked away because of, in my view, he did not see the people benefiting from whatever was supposed to be given to them.
From both parties.
For both, yeah. But I'm saying we have 59 years of independence come May 26. Today's the 19th. What is there to boast about after 59 years? We're still in poverty. Corruption is the highest that we have seen in years. Where are we heading to? The question is wage and salaries. We are walking around with the numbers, but I think take-home pay should not be less than 150,000 to start with. Don't hold me to that, but we're discussing it. But I believe our people need to be paid well so that at least they can take care of their expenses. We also think that VAT should be eliminated. And again, my view on food stuff. You go to the supermarket and you're paying VAT on food. That should not be. So you can reduce the cost of living just by doing that. So there's some things we will do for those who really in abstract poverty. I think the government should set up food basket for those people to help them. So there's a lot of things that we will implement that will help our people. And before we close, I know we didn't address it, but I know, especially in quarantine, and I was told even in Region 1, there's a lot of suicide and domestic violence and so on in our community. And a lot of domestic violence, I believe, because of frustration. You know, the man cannot provide for his family, and he's, there's no excuse to inflict wounds on your partner. But it's a lot of issues that we have to address. And for those of you, our young people who are thinking of suicide, please do not commit suicide, please. Vote for Mr. Mohammed when the election is held. And I want to tell you, we will work with you to realize your dream. All young people in this country should have a big dream, and we will work with you to get those dreams materialized. Guyana will be the best place on this planet to be in a couple of months from now after the election. So,
thanks, Charles. Dr. Maya, you there? Dr. Maya?
Yeah, Dr. Rose.
I have a question for you here. It came from one of your listeners in your neck of the woods. He lives in Albion, Guava, what's it called? Guava what?
Guava Bush.
Guava Bush. Is Albion, right?
Yeah.
His name is Gunrad Sohan. He says he was born, listen to this, he was born in 1971. Listen to this carefully. He said in 2025, he said he was born in blackout, and 50 plus years later, his age, we still have him blackout. What will Mr. Mohammed do to solve this problem? Both you and Charles.
Well, Dr. Rose,
let me see, okay. 71, 29.
This is a problem, and one of the things that is not being addressed.
54 years old, and he said he was
born. When you have a blackout, sometimes when the current come on, the voltage is not to the same what you expected in your house. Sometimes you burn all your equipment in your house and so forth. That problem is not supposed to be in this era of time. They brought things to help to alleviate the situation, but we still have blackouts. And I don't blame this gentleman to say that, but I still believe these are common things that is necessary for us to eliminate and to restore. But right now, Dr. Rose, people who squat lands, then I get water, then I get lights, because then I have title for the land. They apply, they pay for lands and gang get title. Now people are still living without lights. And I was telling you recently that the mules during the British time here in Guyana, they were more civilized. And the mule days are still better than today that we have. Because in the mule days, Dr. Rose, sugar was profitable, rice was profitable, fishing was profitable, bauxite was profitable. Today, what we have here, with all the modern techniques that we have and modernization, yet you can say that this country is still primitive to compare. Look at the blackout. That is why you have to go to the black at Georgetown to do your program, because the blackout is not consistent like before. But you're not taking any chances. But the question here, one of the things, and I was telling you a couple of days ago about the water that we used to drink at the back dam, the black water, is still better than what the water that we have today, the treated water, because the black water had no chemicals and all this bacteria that we can think about. But because you were not, grew up in your formative days in Guyana, you don't know about these things. But I experienced those things, Dr. Rose, and I will tell you, that is something that I think Mr. Mohammed has to put in place. Blackout is a serious problem in this country. We should not encounter blackouts in no way in Guyana.
Okay. Charles,
we have
quickly.
the resources and we can put things in place.
Okay.
We have
Charles,
to find alternatives. But it's thank God that we have the solar energy now. The solar light, people can have their lights in their house.
Okay.
But I will have to tell you this though. The blackout is not consistent as before.
Okay.
But you
Charles,
cannot take chances because of the fluctuation of the current. It can damage your equipment in your house.
Okay.
And that
Charles,
is another cost to the people.
Okay, Dr. Ramayya. Charles, quickly, before you get into your closing remarks, what will Mr. Mohammed do to end blackout? Has he outlined a plan or a policy for it?
Yeah, we are thinking of some of the plans that we have. We believe that people whose home have good roofs, we should provide solar panels for them so they can get their own electricity from the solar. And if there is, for those homes that are not with good roofs, we can have solar farms. Solar farm, I mean, it's most cost effective, it's cheaper way to produce energy, and also have maybe a standby generator. So when like rainy days, you have cloudy days, a couple of days, you have a generator to provide electricity for the community. I think it should be more localized and more effective that way as well. So I know the gas to energy pipeline thing is running, but I believe that electricity costs will be extremely high because I think there's cost overrun and then there's maintenance costs and so on. So what the government is saying that electricity will go down by 50%, I doubt it. Because except if the amortization for the costs go over 100 years, then maybe, yeah, it will have. But I think everything that is, it's sad to say, but a lot of things the government is doing is really backward. We did not have to run that pipeline to come to all the way where it is. We could have captured the gas and ships and pressurize it there and bring it to shore and set up a plant somewhere offshore to produce electricity. Much cheaper, much less expensive than what we're doing now. But it's already undertaken. But I believe that solar energy will be a big part of our program, especially in those remote areas. Like I said, we went to the region 1, region 7, region 2, and so on. Those areas, solar panels are the ideal thing with a standby generator, so you can have electricity if there's cloudy days and so on where it doesn't produce. We believe within 1 year of Mr. Mohammed administration, we should really bring an end to this blackout. It's for too long. As a gentleman said, he was born in 1971. Well, I was born before him. And like him, blackouts still continue. Why do we have to do that at this time and age? It's beyond me. But we'll definitely work on electricity and blackout should come to an end within 1 year of Mr. Mohammed become president.
Before I get to your closing remarks, I will invite Mr. Mohammed to come to the program. I think you will.
You can call him. I'm sure he will come sometime. When he announces, maybe you'll have him on the program so he can tell the people some more of what he plans to do.
Okay. And Charles, your closing remarks.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Dr. Rose and Globespan, for giving me this opportunity to come back on the air. I used to enjoy being your co-host, but now I am a little more involved in politics, and I know Globespan want to be independent, and I salute Globespan for that. But I believe Guyana have a really great future ahead. But we can't do it with these two political parties that has damaged our country's psyche. We have seen over the last 59 years of independence that when one party go in, half of the population feel that they're not part of the government. When the other party go in, the other half don't feel part of the government. We cannot continue that way. I think we have a glorious opportunity now. Mr. Mohammed has been a really, really unifier. He does not look at your ethnicity. He does not look at your religion. He just helped everyone who he can. For those, and some of our people were really living in really bad condition. We went to some homes where people are living in. Mr. Mohammed rebuilt those homes. And as Dr. Ramayya said, he helped so many people. I know when he gave the 2 cars in Berbice, he also delivered some here in Georgetown to some drivers who was either renting or so on. And they can now carry on their life without having to pay a rent for the vehicle. He has given a lot of help to business people who want to enhance their business or to start a business. He has given, I've seen a lot of wheelchairs to people. I've seen sports gear to people. He have given water tanks to some home. I mean, a lot of things he have done. Chainsaws, you name it. He has given to people who really need. And I think, and as Dr. Ramayya said, it's his own money. But what I do know, and I know of him, is that when he promised something, he delivers. And think of when he becomes president and using the resource of the country, right? How much more he can do for our people. And I'm confident that he will make a really great president. But again, the president alone cannot do the work. We need great leaders with him. And I'm encouraging all Guyanese. This fake news, they call it, talking about the sanction. If you associate with him or be friend with him, you'll be sanctioned. The US ambassador has made it very clear. Associating with Mohammed or being friends with him has nothing to do with the sanction. However, you cannot do business transaction with him as a sanctioned entity. When that sanction is lifted, as Ramayya said, like we heard of Syria. I mean, Syria had some serious sanction. The leader of Syria now, they had a bounty of 10 million over his head. And now imagine President Trump shook his hands.
20 million.
Right. So when the sanction will be lifted, God's willing, and then when that is done, Guyana will be the best country again in the world to live in. So I want to thank you so much again, Dr. Rose. Thank you to Globespan. And I look forward sometime in the future when we launch to come back and talk some more on our activities.
Before you go, will he have an all-inclusive government?
Without doubt.
Okay. Dr. Ramayya, your closing remarks?
Yeah, Dr. Rose, let me say this. For 75 years of these two political parties, from the 50s coming back to now it's 2025, what really we see here with its two ethnic groups, the Indians and the Blacks. When the Indian go in government, the PPP, the Black people are out. When the Black people take office, the professionals. So the professionalism is not there in the jobs, it's friends and family members who become ministers and RDC chairperson and so forth. What is happening here, and for the first time with third force party, that Mr. Mohammed has done so much that today, not him as an individual, but this work is better, is stronger than him with among the people. And I will tell you, Dr. Rose, a person of this caliber when I spoke to him, and he believes very strongly in a united front government. If he has to engage PNC people, PPP people who got the potentials of working in a ministry to bring Guyana into fruition and to make it a successful country in the world with what we have today, the resources, he will do it. And especially with the rice and the sugar, I know for a fact that the market is there, but to tap the market, the right people are not there to do it. The fishing industry, these are where can create thousands of jobs. And I think his vision for Guyana, because he met with these people and he studied the problems now. The only problem is the reinforcement. If the people of Guyana should give him this opportunity, and I think they should, that we should run away now from these two political parties and to see a fresh breath of life is given to the people of Guyana to bring Guyana, not as many predicted it could be a Dubai, but we will go there. We will get there if we want to. And I know with his skills, and especially with his love for his people and his country, I think he will bring this country in a unified way, and people will solve the crime problem, the suicide problem to a greater degree than what it is today. And to Globespan and you, Dr. Rose, I want to thank you very much. And I again apologize for not joining in early because I am not a technical person with computer and so forth. And to Nohar Singh, my friend, I want to say a good night, good evening to everybody who listens to this program. And again, I want the people of Guyana, because they are the one who will give the mandate for a new leadership, to consider Mr. Mohammed and give him a chance as a new blood for new development and a new future for Guyana. Thank you.
Folks, you all have made a very good job in promoting Mr. Mohammed's candidacy. And I hope I can get members from the other two political parties to come on board to do the same thing for their leaders. I'm inviting all of them to come on board. Anyone wants to come on board, just give me a call. You all know my phone number, and I'll put you in the program as soon as next Monday to rebut what was said here tonight. So members of the PEP, members of the PNC, members of the AFC, you all are all invited to come on this program at any one time. Just give me a call and I'll get a schedule for you. Folks, you have been listening to Globespan Television worldwide, owned and operated by Mr. Nohar Singh. Technical directors, Mr. Devin Bissoon and Mr. Ryan Gobin. And your host, Dr. Rose. So we want to thank all our listeners tonight for listening to us, and our sponsors for being so kind to us. Without you, we cannot continue this program. And to our two guests, Mr. Charles Sogrim, as you all know, he was a former mediator of this program, and myself and Mr. Dr. Ramayya. Dr. Ramayya, I think, is known throughout the country. He has been the government coordinator for Region 6 in Barbados, and prior to that, he has been the REO, and he has his own podcast going and everything else. So thanks to both of you gentlemen for being our host tonight. Globespan is a fair and balanced network, and we, as I said, whether we agree or disagree, it does not matter. You're invited to come here to express your views. You'll be given a format to say what you want to say on behalf of any party or that you support. So I'm inviting members from the PEP, I'm inviting members from the PNC, I'm inviting members from the AFC to give me a call and come on the program as soon as possible. So to all our listeners again, and to our sponsors, thank you very much. May God bless. Have a pleasant night.
Thank you, Dr. Rose. Thank you, audience.